Welcome to a broadcast of the recent Lorain County Commissioners' General Meeting. Unless otherwise announced, meetings are held Wednesday morning at 9:30 at the Administration Building, 226 Middle Avenue, 4th floor, downtown Elyria. These are public meetings and you are invited to attend. Agendas are posted prior to the meeting at www.loraincounty.us. Click on Departments to see the Commissioners page, then click on View Agenda.
Good morning, everyone. If you'll please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And our prayer this morning comes from the Gospel of Matthew. Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. And our dog warden has a dog this morning.
Good morning. Don't let this dog fool you. It's a wild beast. He's about 2 years old, ready for adoption today. Kennel 30. We also have 31 dogs in the kennel. So come out and visit us. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Madam Clerk.
At 9:45, we'll have our first hearing on the CDBG CHIP programs under resolutions number 1, investments.
So move.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Mr. Kalo.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Appropriations.
So move.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Mr. Kalo.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Transfers.
So move.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Mr. Kalo.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
And advances, no repayments, requisitions.
So move.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Mr. Kalo.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Travel.
So move.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Mr. Kalo.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Bills.
So move.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Authorize various personnel actions as indicated on the summary sheet for employees within jurisdiction of Lorain County Commissioners.
Administrator Cordes.
Thank you, Commissioner Lundy. I do have a few brief issues with potential new hires at Children Family First, custodial, solid waste, that I'd like to discuss with the board. Also, I want to update you on our ongoing labor negotiations with the United Steelworkers of America, and also update you on potential sale of real estate. All three topics are allowable under the Sunshine Act for executive session discussion, so I ask at the conclusion of our regular board meeting, we go into executive session and talk about those three issues. Thank you.
Approve and waive the reading of the minutes of March 16th.
So move.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Approve the 2016 Permanent General Fund Annual Appropriation.
So move.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Amend Eden Northwestern Professional Business Joint Economic Development District contract with the City of Elyria and Eden Township. Amendment is to reflect the inclusion of 5.10 acres, parcel 11-00092-000-065, and zone RC1 Regional Commercial District.
So move.
Second.
Discussion.
Do we have an update on this? Just an amendment for the JED?
What happened with the JED, Commissioner, is that there were certain properties that, at the time, were agreed to be included in the JED, but there was some issues to be worked out. They are now have been remedied, and they're just including them in the JED as per the verbal agreements that they made so that they could get the JED done at the time. So this is just more or less housekeeping.
Okay, all right.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Receive and journalize a vacation petition filed by Grafton Township trustees for Law Road right-of-way west of Mennel Road, Grafton Township. Road right-of-way is 2,714.60 feet, which has never been used and has not been used by the township, being 2.49 acres in accordance with the Ohio Revised Code 5553.042. April 26th at 9 a.m. will be the viewing. Hearing will be held May 17th at 9:30. A notice will be in the Chronicle on April 13th and 20th, and notice to be sent out April 6th.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Under Job and Family, advertise proposals for summer camp program. Notice to be in the Chronicle on March 28th and 4th. Open at 2 p.m. on April 11th.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Under the Transit, approved Title VI program for 2016 through 18 with Federal Transportation Administration, or
So-
Transit Administration.
Yeah. So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Hey, Jim, just give an update on the Title VI program if you can for everybody's edification.
I actually didn't bring anything with me on it,
Okay.
Commissioner.
You didn't? Okay.
No.
All right, when it comes talking to transit, what's been going on with the transit people? I thought maybe add on with the Title VI.
You know, it's all sitting on my desk.
Okay.
Normally, we don't, we don't
We
talk
normally
about
don't, but I thought this was going quick. We ought to talk.
it. I'll bring it next week, and we'll just have a quick
Okay,
update on it.
all right.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Cortez.
I don't have any additional remarks this
That was
morning,
too
thank you.
fast to you,
It
huh?
was too fast for me. I didn't get any work
You
done
didn't
this
get through that
morning.
folder.
So I'll yield to council.
Mr. Pettifer.
No remarks, except we may update on legal matters during executive session.
Commissioners report.
Last Wednesday evening, all three commissioners and Mr. Cortez and a lot of our staff attended the stormwater meeting. We gave an update to the township trustees and just letting them know about the projects that have been ongoing and those that will be doing in the future. It was a nice update. Everybody seemed to be happy with what's going on in the district. Friday, I think we all attended the Lorain fish fry, or the FOP fish fry in Lorain, and oh man, they had the best fish. Really, really good. A lot of people, huge turnout. They were sold out. Tuesday, we were all in LaGrange to view the King Kobelt Ditch. We had a room full of people that were not happy when we got there, because with our stormwater district, if they're paying into the stormwater district, we are usually doing most of the projects covered by the stormwater, so their assessments are waived and the maintenance is waived in a lot of cases. So they were happy to find out that the postcards that they received with assessments on them, that they were not going to have to pay those assessments. So
Well, they're not going to have to pay the maintenance. I'm not sure if the Kobelt Ditch, I'm trying to remember, we did grant for that ditch.
You
We
did.
did.
We did a
We
grant, yes.
We got so much work going on now.
Right,
That was
that's a
a year ago that project was approved. It wasn't in this round of
For the
grants.
clearing. The cleaning will be
There's a
next year's round of grants.
Well, if it's approved.
Right.
right.
See,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, we had a committee and a subcommittee,
Right.
and, but definitely the maintenance. Can we talk about that for a second? Madam Clerk, did we send the postcards
Yeah,
out?
the cards
Yeah.
went out.
Is there a disclaimer on the card that indicates that the maintenance is going to be waived?
No, because that can't be done in the first mailing. It has to be done in the second mailing.
Is that because the board hasn't?
Correct.
Can we add
And
some?
it's by code that I have to include everything, that this is your pre-construction and your pre-maintenance.
Yeah, that was the one that they raised
second
concerns
letter that'll go
about.
out and state that the commissioners will have the hearing, all your compensation and claims are due, and then there's a two sentence paragraph there that states that the commissioners will be suspending the maintenance cost. Your collection will be paid by
Is
stormwater.
there something that we can add on the first mailing that will have not people incite the riot when they get it? I understand the requirements, I do, but those are minimum requirements. We can't add the fact that the commissioners have adopted a practice and policy of waiving the maintenance because of the stormwater fee. And we have. I'm just wondering how not to get, most of those residents came angry because they thought they were going to be assessed, and the township trustees told them they weren't going to. So we caused a bit of anxiety, and I'm just wondering
I
if
mean,
we
I
could
can
figure a way of not
put something on
getting
Is that-
people angry before we even do anything.
I mean, I
That-
received a lot of calls and I deterred a lot of it.
Is that
Yeah.
something the prosecutor's office can look over the?
Well,
the
I'll
language
talk
on?
to them, but I just think if we add something to it or with it, that indicates that this has been an adopted practice by the county. However, we are required by law to make the assessment and the maintenance assessment, but we're thereafter going to suspend it while there's adequate funds in the
Right.
stormwater accounts to perform the maintenance. I think that probably 2/3 of those people or more wouldn't have shown up, and they definitely, if they had shown up, they wouldn't have been as angry as they were.
Right.
So let's get together. I think we can do something to limit that in the future, because we got a lot of ditches coming up and a lot of
Right.
petitions.
Yeah,
When
we
they
don't-
have it in writing and then we tell them something that's the extreme opposite of what's in writing,
Exactly.
they're
They
going to
didn't
believe
quite
what's in the
believe
writing.
us.
They didn't
were
quite believe.
skeptical.
You know, we're
skeptical.
still growing in the
Look at you,
stormwater.
Yeah, they were fine when Ted said it, but when Lori and I said it, they just
They-
But I
questioned it.
can say that the postcards actually work. They read them.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes,
They were
yes.
bright yellow, and
Yeah.
I
Oh, yeah.
got calls.
They
But
did.
Well, you know, I
compared to
think
the letters that I
Good.
sent before, they never read them. I
Well,
mean,
you know,
I never
we're-
received so many calls.
We're working on it, because we're changing and we're evolving. The district's only a few years old. Every time we have something happen, we improve the process. Similar to what I was talking to Mr. Romanchek about, it looks like we're going to do all ditches by petition now. It's more work for the Board of Commissioners, but in order to get the maintenance put onto the ditch and then suspended, so every ditch is the same in the future, we need to do the petition process. The interplay between the Stormwater District and the Board of Commissioners, it's very close, but there's still different responsibilities with the different hat. So you're gonna be doing a lot more viewing. We're gonna have to get Commissioner Kalo a pair of real work boots to wear out
I
there.
have my work boots on yesterday. I was ready to go, man.
Or what did he wear? Or did he wear those wingtips again out
No,
there?
no, no.
No,
I had work boots on.
They
I
were
had work
dirty,
boots
though.
on.
What, they had the tag from Kmart on them?
No, 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 no.
But you're gonna be seeing a lot more of those.
Yeah.
But I think that having them all, even if they're by grant, even if the easements can be obtained, I think we need to do that petition process so that we have a solid practice well into the future that we leave for other people to know how we did our business. But I'll work with you on that. I didn't mean to
That'd be
interrupt
very
you, Commissioner,
helpful.
but.
No, I'm glad we're looking into doing something a little different there, so. I talked a couple weeks ago about Carly's Cause, who asks for donations and money and stuff for the dog kennel instead of for her birthday, and she's been doing that for years. Well, now we have Dylan's donation drive, and it's Dylan Justice, and he is collecting dog leashes, laundry detergent, cleaning supplies, dog food, and dog toys, and it's all for our Lorain County dog kennel. So the drop-off points, his name is Dylan Justice, so Justice Auto Sales at 6027 Elyria Avenue, or at our Lorain County Dog Kennel, which is at 301 Hatteray Street. So just want to thank him and his father, Mike Justice, for going the extra mile to help out our kennel. Let's see, this Saturday, April 2nd, the County Commissioners Residential Shred Day for our Solid Waste Department. It's going to be from 9 to noon at 540 South Abbey Road in Elyria. It's a big parking lot. You just pull in. If you have to bring an ID, and it's free to all Lorain County residents. So there's a limit of 5 boxes or 5 blue grocery bags per vehicle. You don't even get out, you just pull in, people will take the stuff out of your trunk. It's really easy to do. So, and they're also taking non-perishable food items for the food bank. So, looking forward to that, and that's the end of my report.
Good. Yeah, busy week. Last Wednesday after Commissioners' meeting, we had our first conference call with the Transportation Leadership Academy, which NOACA is a part of. The executive board is the members with 6 other MPOs around the country. About an hour and a half long discussion talking about metrics for performance, former transportation directors on the call. And we have to do those moving up before we go to Indianapolis for our first meeting this year. But it was nice to hear perspectives from across the country, how people are looking at performance in regards to roads, infrastructure, the bridges, all the issues that we're dealing with across the country. Where else do we have here? I was in Columbus on Friday, the County Commissioners Association. I sit on the Tax and Finance Committee, and we did a co-meeting with the Agricultural and Rural Affairs Committee. There's a couple pieces of legislation going through committee currently to change the way the CAUV is figured, which is the taxable value of farmland. We had the Farm Bureau there, we had the Association of School Business Officials, the Ohio School Boards Association, and the Ohio Department of Taxation, along with about 30 commissioners, discussing the pros and cons of adjusting how the valuations are when it comes to farmland and non-farm real estate versus the agricultural use value. The farmers are looking for some changes in regards to that. They've come back, Office of Budget and Management say would hurt some of the inside millage on counties and libraries. So there's going to be long discussion on it. The first of many, I talked with Senator Manning and Representative Manning the other night when we were at the fish fry together, and they said it hasn't been presented to them yet. So they've had some discussion to figure it out and bring it back to them. So we'll see where that goes. Also, a couple weeks ago, there was a Hillary town hall in Columbus when Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton were in prior to the Ohio primary. And as I was sitting there watching it, a gentleman from Lorain, Tom Kelling, laid off steelworker, actually got up and spoke and asked questions about dealing with, how they're going to deal with the steel industry. So I snapped a picture and put him on my Facebook. Look, Lorain steelworker on TV and stuff. Well, he ended up contacting me, and I shared with my commissioners after discussion with him. He had sent a letter to our sitting senators and sitting Congress people about dealing with the steel industry in regards to the dumping of foreign steel and the loss of work. And he's got a real nice letter he had sent out. He sent us a copy, which I shared with you guys. Mayor Rittenauer has sent a letter in support, but basically he's asking for, since the federal government had taken action with our auto industry and with the banking system, that may be looking at somehow doing something with our steel, making us more competitive. But again, there's got to be a lot of work on how that's going to work forward and payback on that, I'm sure. But he was supposed to stop in this morning, but I don't see Tom here as of yet, so maybe he'll be in next week to speak about it. But he's asking for us to do something in support of, supporting our steel industry. And as we know, the issues that the city of Lorain are going through in regards to basically 2 warm idles of steel plants and the severe shortages of revenue they have in regards to income tax and our people not working. So maybe we can discuss, and maybe Tom comes in next week, some support for him. Almost like starting a new works program to deal with roads and infrastructure maybe would help with the steel industry. But
Well, what's interesting is the government helps to bail out the auto industry, then the auto industry doesn't use U.S. steel for the cars. Figure that one out.
Yeah,
So,
I didn't want to go there yet.
yeah,
so.
well, it's a boomerang effect there.
Also, again, a lot of fundraising and stuff. Everyone, happy Easter. Enjoy the holiday. Kicking off of spring. We've got a couple minutes. Should be about 9:50. We'll have the big tornado drill. Our phones will be notified. So we'll be looking forward to that. Tom Kelly always does a nice job putting that together. So as our phones go off, it means we're being notified there's a tornado, but it's only a test run, so nobody panic. End of my report.
Just wanted to compliment all involved with running the recycling center. I've had a chance to use it here over the past couple weeks as I've been clearing out of my house in preparation for my marriage next month. But everybody over there is very, very professional. It's very convenient, and I think a lot of folks in the county who may not be aware of it or have never used it, please, whatever you do, bring this stuff over to the recycling center. Don't go doing crazy stuff with it. Make sure that you bring it over there. It's just as easy as can be. So I just want to thank everybody for what they're doing over there. Just a very smooth operation, very convenient, works very well. Stormwater management meeting that we held recently with the township trustees. We're improving the level of the funding for the grants from $200,000 to $400,000, and running through those programs, working in great partnership with Stormwater Advisory and the township trustees. And I don't think things could be any better right now. But the reality is we never have a shortage of projects to take care of. As we were trying to mention yesterday when we were in LaGrange, we have 18 townships, and LaGrange is just one on the map here, and we've got plenty of projects to do and plenty of communities to cover, so constantly trying to spread that money. But I'm glad that we had the discussion about the notification, because we definitely need to wordsmith that a little bit better. But yeah, they were believing everything that Ted said, but not Lori and myself, so I'm still trying to figure that one out. But had a chance to attend the Lorain County Township Association meeting. They had a presentation by the Sheriff's Department on the heroin epidemic that is here in the county. I saw about Narcan now being made available for free, which I'm just a little concerned about that, because, if you make it too easily available, I think, people may be a little bit too comfortable with continued use. And but it's good to know that we're making that product available to families who certainly have concerns about how to keep a loved one alive should they go too far with their usage. Urban League Diversity Conference took place at Lorain County Community College last Friday. And just a lot of great speakers, a good forum that took place there. They were talking a lot about how we all in life have a blind spot. It's kind of our hidden bias of good people in different forms and different shapes. I can always understand the Michigan one, I guess, but it's also an interesting book out there called Blind Spot if you get a chance to take a look at it. Lorain FOP Fish Fry, as the commissioners pointed out, very well attended, and we thank the men and women in blue for all that they do. They have a tough job. I always tell people working 20 years as a reporter, I've seen fire and police in some very difficult positions, and you couldn't pay me enough to do their job by any means. Congratulations to the Avon Lake Kiwanis for their pancake breakfast on Sunday. Also had a chance to attend, the Chamber of Commerce had the State of Lorain City Schools at the old Carnegie Library building there in Lorain, site of the Historical Society, and Dr. Jeffrey Graham gave a really good presentation. A lot of the students were part of that presentation. They're doing a lot of good things in Lorain. My concern is that the state keeps changing the testing. It's almost like the state is setting the district up for failure, even though they're making tremendous progress. So we're going to have to monitor that situation because I'm a little concerned about the way things were handled in Youngstown. And the reality is if things don't work out, the state could push the change to a charter school system, and we certainly don't want that, especially when only 24% of the charter schools in the state are performing at or above expectations. That completes my report.
Board correspondence?
I would move that we waive the reading of the correspondence.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Lundy,
Aye.
Mr. Kalo?
Aye.
Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Public comment?
And we're now receiving
it's
this
the
notification.
Tornado warning.
So-
Lorain County Office of Emergency Management and Homeland Security calling for Ted Kalo. If you are the person, department, or facility we are attempting to contact, press 1 to continue.
We're all
This
gonna get
message
that. Mine's
will-
probably going
You
off
have
in the
received the
office.
following message on March 23rd,
I turned mine off.
2016 at
I just listened
9:50
to it.
a.m.
We're probably gonna call that one.
This is a test of the telephone emergency notification system from the Lorain County Emergency Management Agency as part of the Ohio statewide tornado drill. This is in conjunction with Severe Weather Awareness Week in the state of
It's a drill.
Ohio. Please follow the acknowledge
It's a drill.
prompts at the end of this message and do not hang up until the system acknowledges you back. Press 1 to respond. I confirm that I have received this message.
I guess I'll remind Mr. Kelly we shouldn't have our drill in the middle of the commission.
Yeah.
Your response has been
It's a
recorded.
statewide,
Thank you.
950. It has to be.
Well, it's good for public awareness.
Right.
I think a lot of people don't realize, it's my understanding, I think Lorain County has still led the state in tornadoes, as far as actual tornadoes over a period of time.
I
But,
guess the average one, I was listening this morning on the radio, it's about, Ohio averages a little bit over 12 tornadoes per year.
right. Yeah, no, it's a serious thing. I used to live out in Kansas, and when I was a reporter, they'd send me out following funnel clouds all the time, waiting to see if anything ever touched down. And
They were trying to send you to Oz?
yeah, they were trying to send me to Oz, yeah, but it's certainly one that's of great concern, especially at nighttime when everybody's in their beds, and so it's nice to have the notification system.
Okay.
Ready for the public hearing
Yep.
this morning? Okay, we have our first public hearing on the Community Development Block Grant CHIP program. And Linda, Community Development, is going to be our presenter this morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is the first of 2 public hearings. This first public hearing gives an overview of the programs. Nothing is to be decided. There are no activities being brought to the table. So this is the first of the 2 public hearings to provide citizens with pertinent information about the CDBG program. The CDBG program can fund a broad range of activities, and that includes economic development projects, street, water supply, drainage and sanitary sewer improvements, park acquisition improvements, demolition of unsafe structures, rehabilitation of housing, and neighborhood facilities. The activities must be designed to benefit low and moderate income persons or aid in the prevention or elimination of slum and blight. Lorain County is eligible to apply for funds under the program year 2016 CDBG program. This is a federally funded program, as well as other related programs administered by State of Ohio Development Services Agency, ODSA. And as stated before, in order to be eligible for funding, the outcome must meet one of two national objectives: benefit low to moderate income or eliminate slum and blight. The county is eligible to apply for the Community Development Allocation Program in the amount of $307,000, as well as the competitive set-aside programs, which are neighborhood revitalization, downtown revitalization, and critical infrastructure program. Each of those is up to $300,000 that you can apply for. And that would be in addition to the $307,000 in the allocation funding program. Lorain County currently has a downtown revitalization program in the city of Amherst. Additionally, the county is eligible to apply for economic development, microenterprise grant, discretionary grant, and the water and sewer grant should the county have a project that would meet the thresholds for the grant that we're applying for. Lorain County is eligible for approximately $450,000 of program year 2016 Community Housing Impact and Preservation Program, the CHIP funding, if the county partners with another CHIP-eligible community. The CHIP program can be funded with home funds, Ohio Housing Trust funds, in addition to CDBG funds, depending on the activity. Programs available through the CHIP program include owner home rehab, or repair, rental home repair, private owner rehab, rental rehab, home ownership, new construction habitat, and tenant-based rental assistance. As in the prior CHIP grant, communities are encouraged to partner. The incentive to partner is an increase of $150,000 in funding. The grant ceiling for not partnering has been lowered by $100,000. If the county chose not to partner, the grant ceiling would be $300,000. By partnering, the grant ceiling for the county increases to $450,000. The county is currently partnering with the cities of Oberlin and Sheffield Lake in their 2014 CHIP grant. Oberlin and Sheffield Lake would be eligible to apply for $350,000 each should the partnership continue. As in the past application, one partner must be designated the grantee, which is currently the county, and the grantee applies for and is responsible for the entire grant. The grantee's responsibilities are the planning process, filing of the application, entering into a contract with the state of Ohio, the environmental review, draw requests, status reports, and final performance reports, financial management, and grant closeout, including program income. The grantee will, as part of the planning process, be responsible to identify needs of all of the partners in the final recommendation, which will be the second public hearing, to that entity's governing body and approve the grant application. The grantee can enter into administrative contracts with the partners to administer the funds designated for that community, or they can administer the entire grant, which is what Lorain County currently does with their CHIP 14 grant. The training for the CDBG 2016 allocation grant is April the 8th of this year. The CHIP application is due by electronic filing May the 6th of this year. The allocation grant is due June the 17th, also electronic filing. And the second public hearing for the CHIP 2016 grant application will take place on April 27th at 9:45 a.m. Any questions?
Nice job, Lynn.
Yeah, very good. Any big changes we should be aware of?
No, thank goodness.
Okay,
No, last year was all the big changes.
Right,
They
okay.
shook up everything. But
okay.
Let's make a motion to close the public hearing.
Okay, we'll make,
Public comment?
yeah, any comment at this time for the public hearing? Seeing none, I guess I would make the motion at this time to close this first public hearing on Community Development Block Grant and CHIP.
Second.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Mr. Kalo.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Then our next hearing is what date again?
April 27th.
April
Thank you.
27th? Okay. Public comment. Any public comment come before the board this morning? Okay. After not seeing any participants for public comment, we'll move to go into executive session and discuss personnel issues outlined by the county administrator and legal issues that were outlined by the assistant prosecutor.
Second.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
This has been a broadcast of the recent Lorain County Commissioners' General Meeting. Unless otherwise announced, meetings are held Wednesday morning at 9:30 at the Administration Building, 226 Middle Avenue, 4th floor, downtown Elyria. These are public meetings, and you are invited to attend. Agendas are posted prior to the meeting at www.loraincounty.us. Click on Departments to see the Commissioners page, then click on View Agenda for a printable copy of the agenda.
Every election in Ohio begins in a place like this one, a county board of elections. In each of Ohio's 88 counties, a county board of elections is responsible for planning and conducting all federal, state, and local elections. While everyone in Ohio is aware that elections take place, not everyone has the opportunity to see what goes on behind the scenes. Our goal in the next several minutes is to provide you with an inside glimpse of what happens at a board of elections, including its duties and its significance on its community, county, the state, and the nation.
All right, we'll go ahead and call this meeting of the Hamilton County Board of Elections to order. Proper notice has been given as required by the Ohio Sunshine Act.
We're made up of half of us are appointed by the Democratic Party and half of us are appointed by the Republican Party. And then we operate with a 4-person board. Again, 2 members are elected from the Democratic Party, 2 from the Republican Party.
We have a full-time staff of about 36, both made up of Democrats and Republicans. We also hire during election cycles many temporary employees who are also members of each major political party.
We have 44 full-time permanent staff here at the Franklin County Board of Elections, but at election time, both in a gubernatorial year or in a presidential year, that staff will expand up to In the presidential year, for example, we had probably about 250 people working here on a seasonal basis at the Board of Elections, both here at our office, at our warehouse facility, and at our early vote center that's attached to the Board of Elections here on Morse Road.
We only have 3 full-time employees and 1 part-time employee. So trying to balance between registrations, between absentees, processing absentees, doing all the machine setup, the poll worker, or now the precinct election official training, recruitment. It's everybody has to wear many hats. That we basically, I look at us as the jack of all trades, master of all.
Hello, how can I help you?
Yeah, can you give me the winning lottery number?
We get that question a lot. What do you do the rest of the year? Well, as you know, in Ohio, we can have up to four scheduled elections. One year we actually had 6.
We also have things that we put on the back burner, like updating our mapping system. How do we improve our website? You know, how do we get better information out to voters? So there's never really a downtime for us.
The poll worker recruitment is a process. It begins Labor Day and then it continues all the way through election. Greene County needs to recruit 584 poll workers. It's done with a bipartisan team, so we have both the Democrat and Republicans represented to recruit each of their party representatives. And we also, in addition to the poll workers, have to recruit 40 rovers, which are the individuals who set up the equipment, kind of provide the running support for Election Day.
So I have a few positions left in Xenia. Now I do have one that is a very important position that I do need to get filled.
What's your current address? And I'll give you a couple options of what you need to do.
There is a 3-hour training class that's required, and we have several dates and times available for that.
Hi everybody, my name is Jane and I'm with the Franklin County Board of Elections, and as you know, you're here to be trained as precinct election officials. How many of you have worked before? Hallelujah. That's wonderful. I'm so happy.
We require here in Franklin County our poll workers to go through training every election. And because the landscape of Ohio elections, as we all know, changes so rapidly every year, and we just feel that that investment is very valuable to us.
We could not do this without you. The most sacred right that we have as Americans is the right to vote. You make it possible for the voters, the 850,000 voters in Franklin County, to vote.
We actually put together a timeline. We start 100 days out, and every task we have is included in that timeline, so that we basically work the plan. Everything from starting to do the UOCAVA notices. We do a complete inventory of all of our supplies 100 days out, and now 28 days before the election when in office and mail out absentee begins.
Blendon A2, if they want a paper ballot or if they're a provisional, they're going to have ballots already printed.
That's the way it is. Mark.
When a voter requests an absentee ballot, we have a program that will actually bring up their ballot image. We do a PDF of that ballot image that every night we send that file, that PDF file, over to our county print shop, which here in Franklin County is located right at our facility. They print up the ballots and bring them to our absentee staff the next morning. They then use what is called a Rely-A-Vote machine. which inserts all the items that need to go into the mailing, the response, the ID envelope, any instructions that go in there, and also the ballot. Gets all stuffed automatically. The machine puts the postage on it at a pre-sorted rate. We've really taken what used to be a very people-centered, labor-intensive process and automated as much as we possibly could.
We get an absentee application in, so we have that application reviewed by both an R and a D. That's the dual party check, so they both initial off on the application. Then we have a part-time person that basically goes through as a third set of eyes to review it to make sure that the right ballot was pulled, that the address that we're sending it to is correct on the mailing label, and then actually folds and stuffs the envelope and then processes it for mailing.
They're all zeros, which means we have cleared a memory card and no one has cast a ballot on this when we send it out.
Well, the LNA aspect, that's very labor intensive as well, because we actually go through and test every ballot in every single machine to make sure all the media is correct, to make sure the equipment is running adequately and properly.
Back on the record. Board has heard the results of the test deck. What is the pleasure of the board?
To accept the results of the test deck.
Second. Have a motion and second to accept the results of the test deck. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll.
You're listening to WBOE Radio on this Tuesday morning, Election Day in the Buckeye State. And I hope each and every one of you is ready to go to the polls today to exercise your most precious right as an American, the right to vote.
Hey, Marty.
Well, hello there. How are you?
I enjoy it. I feel like it's important that we sometimes we're short-staffed in Madison County. I feel like someone has to do it. I enjoy it, and a little bit of extra money's nice too.
Look at the date of issue, don't you?
Here's your ballot. Take it right back here. Thank you.
Listen up! We got the bags coming in now. We got our first truck. So the first thing we're going to do, when they roll the parts in here, we're going to open up the bag, break the seal off, put it on the table in front of you. We're going to have a check-in sheet. Unzip the bag. The check-in sheet is in one of those pockets in the middle. Pull it out. check to make sure that the e-scan memory card is in that bag.
No, take that to the warehouse.
All of the trucks will get 2 tables with 1 truck at a time. 1 bag at a time. Oh, sorry. 1 bag at a time. 1 bag at a time.
There's lots going on still after Election Day. There's a lot of different projects that's involved in preparing for the official count. One is we have thousands of pieces of voting equipment that are out there at close to 400 different polling locations in Hamilton County. So we have to retrieve all of that voting equipment, bring it back to our warehouse where we have bipartisan teams that inspect all of the equipment. There's the electronic data that needs to be backed up and saved off of all of that equipment. We also have ballot accounting to conduct. We have bipartisan teams that go through the reconciliation sheets and make sure that every ballot that should have been counted was counted in the unofficial count. We also have the provisional verification process, which is a very tedious process and takes a large number of staff to complete that process.
There is no way to do a Republican election and there's no way to do a Democrat election. There is a way to do a good election.
It's really something that's incredible to witness because you have, people who obviously have strong affiliations with one party or another, but when they come here into the Board of Elections, they all have a common goal of conducting a fair and efficient election.